Field of 6 moves off the turn. They're lining up as they approach the start. Tonight's first race, first of 12 this evening. Here they come. They're off. Park Lane Charger. Used aggressively early on the inside. It's Dragon Stalker. These two battle for the lead. Park Lane Charger on the outside. Dragon Stalker on the inside. A length back to DL Sam. Racing in third. 2 back to Mr. Finale. Racing in fourth. Then a break of 3 to Ron Santo. And another 2 back to the trailer Lake Hills Dock. They're midway around the first turn. Park Lane Charger leads the way. A length and a quarter. They go off the quarter. 29 seconds flat. Park Lane Charger. Longest shot on the board. In command of the fractions by 2. Dragon Stalker right in behind second. A length back to DL Sam. On the outside, moving up is Ron Santo for Hamilton. Mr. Finale saves ground. And then a gap of 2 to Lake Hills Dock. Approaching the half. Park Lane Charger. Doug Larson. In command, 3 parts of a length. Ron Santo now pulls up even. Dragon Stalker is right there in third. A length to DL Sam. Mr. Finale and Lake Hills Dock, they have 59-2. On the outside, it's Ron Santo, and now Ron Santo takes command as they race around the far turn. Park Lane Charger is back to second, 2 lengths back to Dragon Stalker. Racing in third on the outside, Lake Hills Dock moves up fourth, DL Sam and Mr. Finale. They turn for home. Ron Santo leads the way by 2. It's Ron Santo, your leader, 3/4, 128-2. Ron Santo leads on the outside. Park Lane Charger is coming on again. On the outside, Lake Hills Dock. Along the rail, it's DL Sam. Down the stretch, Park Lane Charger. Here's DL Sam. DL Sam on the inside now, drawing off with a 1/16 of a mile to go. DL Sam pulling off the upset to win the first. Close for second, Mr. Finale and Dragon Stalker, 1:55-3. Top of the stretch. Fields lining up for the second race. Here they come. They're off and pacing on the inside. Mr. Spring left well. On the far outside, Casino Magic moves up in between horses. Lowell, Eddie Lou, Mr. Spring. Out in front, here's Casino Magic. And now Casino Magic takes the lead into the first turn. A length over Mr. Spring. Lowell, Eddie Lou came away in third. 3 lengths back to Mannheim Trolley. Racing in fourth. Right in behind Mannheim Trolley is Holly Hill Herman. A length back to Douglas Fir. A length to Double H Beast. And Fox Valley Jordan is at the end. They're off the quarter. 28-4. They race up the backstretch. Casino Magic in command. A length for Pinsky. Mr. Spring is right there in second. Lowell, Eddie Lou racing in third. Then a break of 4 to the favorite. Mannheim Trolley. 2 lengths back to Holly Hill Herman. A length and a half. Douglas Fir, Double H Beast, and Fox Valley Jordan. No change in position. Approaching the half, Casino Magic. In front and driving, Mr. Spring is right there in the pocket. Lowell, Eddie Lou with the leaders in third. The half, 59-1. It's Casino Magic. Your leader a length, Mr. Spring, getting the trip. Lowell, Eddie Lou racing third. Mannheim Trolley still about 5 lengths off the top with 3/8 to go. Moving up on the outside is Douglas Fir. Bringing up Double H Beast. On the move from last is Fox Valley Jordan. And now shuffled back is Holly Hill Herman. They turn for home. They're in the stretch. Casino Magic leads the way by 3/4, 129-4. Casino Magic on a short lead. Here's Mr. Spring and Dean McGee in mid-stretch. Mr. Spring now takes command. Casino Magic losing ground. Lowell, Eddie Lou racing in fourth. Mannheim Trolley still a lot of ground to make up. 16th out. It's Mr. Spring now drawing off. Mr. Spring, another upset winner here at Sportsman's Park. Casino Magic second. Lowell, Eddie Lou 157. Top of the stretch. Fields lining up as they approach the start. Picking up speed. Here they come. They're off, far outside, all that rhythm. Left hard in between horses, got by Towner, and on the inside it's Lake Hills Carl. Battle for the lead, got by Towner in between them. Takes command into the first turn, Lake Hills Carl. Racing in second, all that rhythm, takes back third. Moving up, now taking over fourth is Cambino as they race around the turn. A length in front of Melvin Skipper, 2 back to Supertanic, a length and a half back to Soki's Day, 2 to Broadway Gem. Cambino and Unravel, they're off the quarter, 27-3. They race up the backstretch, got by Towner, now feeling pressure from All That Rhythm and Dale Heitman. Lake Hills Carl is right there in third, 2 back to Van Cruz. Racing in fourth, a length back to Melvin Skipper. In fifth, moving off the cones for Knox is Supertanic. He's followed up by Soki's Day and Neil Coleman. On the outside, Cambino is on the move. Broadway Gem Unravel. They're off the half, 56-3. All That Rhythm on the inside. On the outside, moving up. Here comes Got By Towner again. Got By Towner retakes command with 3/8 to go. Got By Towner, Van Cruz. Now on the move for Anderson. All That Rhythm racing in third. Lake Hills Carl and Supertanic. They're in the stretch. Got By Towner leads by 2. 3/4, 126-1. Got By Towner. Here's Van Cruz. And now Van Cruz takes command. Got By Towner racing in second. Lake Hills Carl's third. Melvin Skipper now shakes loose. Here he comes in mid-stretch. It's Van Cruz drawing off. Van Cruz leads, late move by Melvin Skipper. Van Cruz well in command here. Van Cruz wins it. Melvin Skipper second, Got By Towner 154-4. Top of the stretch, field of 11. Now lining up, picking up speed. Here they come. They're away in pacing. Going off stride before the start was just ideal. On the inside, Jake's a Dancer left well. Here's Park Lane Dynamite. Park Lane Dynamite to the top. A length on the outside, it's Fox Valley Rogue. Jake's a Dancer. Racing in third, Free Cat up on the rim in fourth. Mo Gumbo came away in fifth. A length and a half back to Hooked on a Feeling. Racing in sixth, Ideal Centurion. In seventh, Coal Bullet. Racing in eighth, Casino Fortune. In ninth, and comes Unzipped. Your trailer after the miscue, Just Ideal. They're off the quarter, 28-4. They race up the backstretch, and now with an early move. At the leader once again is Fox Valley Rogue on the inside. Park Lane Dynamite continues to lead. Fox Valley Rogue. Racing on the outside, Jake's a Dancer. In third, Free Cat. Parked in fourth, Mo Gumbo now moves off the rail. For Anderson, he's on the move. On the inside, it's Hooked on a Feeling. A length back to Ideal Centurion. Coal Bullet, Casino Fortune. A length and a half back to Unzipped. And your trailer, Just Ideal. Now they're off the half, 58 seconds. They race around the far turn. Park Lane Dynamite leads. Mo Gumbo, the challenger on the outside. On the inside, it's Fox Valley Rogue. Free Cat going a long mile. On the inside, it's Jake's an Answer far back. Casino Fortune is on a break. Park Lane Dynamite in the stretch leads Mo Gumbo. Continues to bear down in second. 3/4, 127-4. 3/16 to go. And now Mo Gumbo to the front. It's Mo Gumbo and Joe Anderson. An eighth of a mile out. Mo Gumbo leads. Park Lane Dynamite going a big effort. Fox Valley Rogue racing in third. A late move, Hooked on a Feeling, a deep stretch. Mo Gumbo now cruising. Entry made, Hooked on a Feeling second. Fox Valley Rogue third, 155-3.
There's your results for race 4 on the page as we go to race 5, exacta trifecta, and pick
Top of the stretch. Field of 10 lining up for the 5th race. Picking up speed. Here they come. They're off and pacing. Gilboy in the middle of the track, along with HP's Bad Boy. On the inside, it's Head Viking. Moving out for position, Pete's Porsche. Battle for the lead on the inside. HP's Bad Boy on the outside. It's Gilboy. They race into the first turn. On the outside, Gilboy puts a neck in front. HP's Bad Boy racing in second. Head Viking. In third, Pete's Porsche. 4 lengths back and forth. High-tailed Henry racing in fifth. On the outside, parked in fifth is Santa Rico. Tough Eyes. Then a gap to Always a Leader. Stairmaster and Brooklet's Thunder. Opening quarter, a quick 27-3. Things still unsettled up top. And now Gilboy finally clears for Maxwell. Up on the outside, here comes Pete's Porsche. The 2 favorites will go to battle early on. And now Pete's Porsche takes the track away from Gilboy. HP's Bad Boy racing in third. Santa Rico on the outside, moving up in fourth. Head Viking is shuffled back. Tough Eyes into the flow. High-tailed Henry. They're off the half, 56 seconds. They race around the turn. Pete's Porsche leads the way. Gilboy right in behind second. Santa Rico going a long mile, but hangs in there third. HP's Bad Boy looks to shake loose. On the inside, it's Head Viking. On the outside, Tough Eyes. Railing up from far back is Stairmaster. Quarter of a mile to go. They're in the stretch. Pete's Porsche leads the way. Gilboy lurking in the pocket. 3/4, 125 3. 3/16 to go. Pete's Porsche digs down. Morgan urging him on. Gilboy on the outside and Maxwell. Maxwell going to work. It's Pete's Porsche and Gilboy on the outside. Always a Leader is flying. Head Viking can't get out. Pete's Porsche. Here comes Always a Leader. Pete's Porsche. Gilboy still have held on for second over Always a Leader. Third, 154-4. That's a photo. Fields off the turn as they line up and approach the start. Here they come. They're off far outside. BG's Muggsy. Used aggressively by J.D. Finn on the inside. It's Mastermark Grace. Moving out. Recommendation. BG's Muggsy leads the way. Here's Recommendation and Dean McGee. Mastermark Grace is away in third. A length back to Propensity. Racing in fourth. Victor's Dynasty in fifth. On the outside, Prohibitive. A length ahead of Entry Mate. Nuke's Legacy. Then comes Bo Cam. Trailer is Backdoor Bomber. Off the quarter, 28 seconds. Recommendation leads the way by 2. BG's Muggsy. Racing in second, a length and a half back to Mastermark Grace. Racing in third, a length back to Propensity. In fourth, on the outside, moving up for Morgan, is Prohibitive. Now sneaking off the rail is Victor's Dynasty. Now Victor's Dynasty back inside on the outside. Nuke's Legacy. Following up live cover Bo Cam. And Backdoor Bomber Recommendation. Takes him by the half, 58-1. 30 1/4, a breather for Recommendation. On the outside, Mastermark Grace quickly up to challenge. And now Mastermark Grace draws off by 2. Recommendation. Racing in second, BG's Muggsy. In third, Prohibitive. In fourth, a gap of 3 on the outside, Nuke's Legacy. On the inside is Propensity. Victor's Dynasty, Bo Cam. And far back, Backdoor Bomber. Inside the quarter pole, Mastermark Grace leads the way. Recommendation trying to come back. On the outside, BG's Muggsy. Racing in third. In fourth is Propensity. And far back is Nuke's Legacy. An eighth of a mile to go. Mastermark Grace leads. Mastermark Grace under a drive. On the inside, here comes Prohibitive. Mastermark Grace is leg weary. Prohibitive looking for a lane. Mastermark Grace holding off Prohibitive. Close for third at 156-2.
There's your 6th race results as we go to race 7, exacta trifecta, and pick 3 wagering. The condition of the race now enters a 6 or 40 life. I think week to week this is probably one of the best races.
Field rolls off the turn. They enter the stretch. Field of 7 lining up as they approach the start. Picking up speed. Here they come. They're off and pacing. Feedback. Left hard in the middle of the track. On the outside moving up. Amazon Prince, Timothy Kwan moves out for position. It's feedback. Your leader, here's Amazon Prince for Anderson. And now, Amazon Prince will take the lead into the first turn. A length feedback. Racing in second, a length and a half back to Timothy Kwan. Racing in third, Spend a Dollar. In fourth, a length back to Light Switch. Racing in fifth and sixth around the turn. And approaching the quarter if looks could kill. Your trailer is Conundrum. They're off the quarter, 28-2. And here comes Timothy Kwan for Shetler. Timothy Kwan on the attack. Amazon Prince is your leader. And here comes Timothy Kwan. Timothy Kwan now takes command. Amazon Prince back to second, feedback, racing in third, Spend a Dollar in fourth, and now moving off the cones for Morgan. 2 lengths back to Light Switch. If looks could kill in Conundrum, still trails. They're off the half, 57-1. Relatively easy quarter for Timothy Kwan. Timothy Kwan leads on the outside, Spend a Dollar being rated by Morgan. Amazon Prince is right there in the pocket, Light Switch moves up with Live Cover. On the inside, now being pushed back a bit is feedback. Moving up if looks could kill Conundrum. Still about 8 lengths off the lead. They come to the corner. Timothy Kwan. On the inside, on the outside, it's Spend a Dollar. Timothy Kwan approaching 3/4. Now draws clear. A length and a quarter, 3/4. 125 and 3. Pace picks up. 3/16 to go. Timothy Kwan leads. Timothy Kwan by 2. Spend a Dollar. Losing ground on the outside. It's Light Switch. Racing in third. Conundrum comes on fourth. Down the stretch. Timothy Kwan leads. Light Switch can't get any closer. Timothy Kwan. An easy winner. Here's the time. 1:53 and 4 over Light Switch, close for third.
There's your 7th race results. That's a pretty nice try considering it's a short field.
Now they're in the stretch. Field of 10 lining up. Here they come. They're away and pacing and off a tad slow is Morgan Mill. On the far outside, Koi Cadet left well. The extreme outside, here's Gypsy Sear. It's Koi Cadet. Your leader, Gypsy Sear, the challenger on the outside. These two pull away by 3 in front of Baby Doctor, racing in third. 2 lengths to Red Leaf Make a Buck. Racing in fourth as they race around the turn. A length back to Be Good in fifth. Another length back to Denard Angus. Safari Joe, Morgan Mill. Switchboard and Sportsmaster, they're spread out. They go by the quarter quick, 26 and 4. Koi Cadet cutting it out, leads by 2 over Gypsy Sear and DeSomer. A length back to Baby Doctor, racing in third. Red Leaf Make a Buck in fourth. A length back to Be Good in fifth, and a break of 5 to Denard Angus, Safari Joe, and Morgan Mill. Another 3 lengths back to Switchboard and Sportsmaster. They race for the half. It's Koi Cadet 55 and 4. Koi Cadet carving out some wicked fractions. He leads into the far turn a length. Gypsy Sear is right there in the pocket. Red Leaf Make a Buck leads up the second tier. Be Good poised and ready to strike for Heitman. On the inside, Baby Doctor looks for him. Denard Angus now into the action, along with Safari Joe moving up from far back. Morgan Mills, Sportsmaster, and Switchboard. They're in the stretch. Here comes the onslaught, and leading up the way is Baby Doctor and Red Leaf Make a Buck. Red Leaf Make a Buck leads by 2.5, 3/4, 126 and 1. Red Leaf Make a Buck. Here comes Be Good far outside Denard Angus. Now it's Denard Angus. In deep stretch, Denard Angus leads. Denard Angus now by 2. A late move by Safari Joe. Denard Angus winning it easy. Safari Joe second. Be Good third in 1:54.1. Top of the stretch. Field of 7 lining up. Picking up speed. Here they come. They're off from the far outside in a blaze. Used hard on the inside. It's Regal Stance. Regal Stance and in a blaze. And now in a blaze. Takes command a length. Regal Stance. Racing in second. A length back to Dr. Franjak. In third, Bama Legend. Came away in fourth. A length back to Radio. In fifth, an Awesome Dude. Your trailer is Sportsman. They move midway around the turn in a blaze. In command of the fractions. Goes by the quarter, 28-2. Race up the backstretch, in a blaze leads. Regal Stance right there in the pocket. Here comes Bama Legend. Bama Legend on the move for Morgan. Dr. Franjak racing along the inside fourth, a length back to Radio. In fifth, 2 back to Awesome Dude. Your trailer Sportsman. Approaching the half, in a blaze on the inside. On the outside, Bama Legend, they're side by side as they race for the half. Regal Stance is right there in third. Half 57-1. In a blaze leads into the far turn. Bama Legend on the outside, still right there. Regal Stance racing in the pocket, a length back to Dr. Franjak. Radio is on the move for Miller. 3 back to Awesome Dude. Trailer Sportsman, top of the stretch. In a blaze leads. Bama Legend won't go away. Still out there second, Regal Stance. On the inside, racing in third. 3/4, 125-4. Down the stretch in a blaze. Has put away Bama Legend. Now draws off by 2. Regal Stance racing in second. Rallying up his Radio. From far back, here comes Sportsman's inside the 8th pole. In a blaze leads. It's in a blaze. They're all in behind. In a blaze. In a blaze cruising to the wire. In a blaze in front. The battle for second. Dr. Franjak over Awesome Dude in 1:53-2. Your 9th race top down after the placing. 2-3-7. Field of 10 moves off the turn. They're lining up for the Poplar Bird Stake final. Picking up speed. Here they come. They're off. Oliver G. Slim on the inside. On the outside, it's Bingo Johnny. Also coming away well is Hearts Tiger. Here's Bingo Johnny. Bingo Johnny with a rush. 3 off the rail. In between horses, it's Oliver G. Slim. Hearts Tiger on the inside. Hold second. Coming away fourth around the turn, Fox Valley Colleen. So far, so good. Moving up on the outside is Broadway Spirit. Here's the quarter. 26-4. They race up the backside. Bingo Johnny in command. Here comes Oliver G. Slim. These two will go at it early on. Hearts Tiger right in behind that pair. Racing in third, a length and a half back to Fox Valley Colleen. In fourth, a length to So Far So Good. Broadway Spirit. Big Time Lucky, unhurried at this point. 2 lengths back to Jeremy Marcotte. Anxious Willie and Dr. Ringo. Oliver G. Slim now takes command. They're off the half. 55-2. Oliver G. Slim leads. Bingo Johnny right there in the pocket as they race around the far turn. Hearts Tiger is on the move. Second now, quickly up to challenge for the lead. 3/8 to go. Oliver G. Slim on the inside. On the outside, it's Hearts Tiger. Bingo Johnny poised in the pocket. Broadway Spirit is out there with cover. They turned for home. Oliver G. Slim under pressure. On a short lead. 3/4, 125-1. Oliver G. Slim shortening stride. Broadway Spirit far outside. Moving up with a rush is Big Time Lucky. Now it's Big Time Lucky to the top in mid-stretch. Big Time Lucky, Broadway Spirit. Here comes Jeremy Marcotte. We got an upset in the making here with Big Time Lucky. Big Time Lucky wins the Poplar Bird. Close for second, a fast closing Anxious Willie in 1:53-1. 3-9-4-8-5-6-2 on the bottom. Fields off the turn. Now they're in the stretch. Here they come. They're away in pacing with Dick Van Dyke far back. At the start, they're off. And on the far outside, it's Wispy Raven going right to the top. Wispy Raven for Delchup, an easy lead. Opens up by 2 on Varsity Type. A length and a half back to Kedron, racing in third. And these three are 5 lengths ahead of Mr. Anthony, racing in fourth as they race around the turn. Wispy Raven rolling along, leads the way a length. Opening quarter, 27-3. They're spread out. Wispy Raven leads up the backstretch. Varsity Type racing in second. Racing wide is Kedron. 2 back to Mr. Anthony. In fourth, another 2 back to Stetson. Racing in fifth. Sand Keen Edge in sixth. In seventh, to the half, is Some Pressure and Fred Finn Jr. A length and a half back to Miller Slider. Carmine Lobel and far back and out of it is Dick Van Dyke. They're off the half, 57-1. Wispy Raven on top. Varsity Type right there in the pocket. On the outside, Kedron being rated by Morgan. Followed up closely on the outside by Mr. Anthony. Poised for Larson. On the inside, Stetson is pushed back. Sand Keen Edge is on the move. Some Pressure. Miller Slider and Carmine Lobel. They're in the stretch. Wispy Raven leads. Second tier. Moving out wide. It's Wispy Raven. Out there by 2. Varsity Type racing in second. 3/4. 127-2. Down the stretch. Wispy Raven leads the way by 2.5. Varsity Type. Mr. Anthony has to do more. A late rally on the far outside by Sand Keen Edge. Wispy Raven under a drive. Here comes Sand Keen Edge. Wispy Raven. Sand Keen Edge nailing him at the wire. Wispy Raven second. Varsity Type third. 155-1. Field 10 lining up. They're off the turn. Now they're in the stretch. Picking up speed. Here they come. They're off and timing the gate perfectly with Sulin Dan and Tony Morgan. Sulin Dan in between horses. Coming away on the outside, Double Time J. On the inside, it's Best Boy Hanover. Now Double Time J quickly up to challenge Sulin Dan for the lead as they race into the first turn. 2 lengths back to Best Boy Hanover, racing in third. A length back to Subtraction. In fourth, 2 back to Lil's Bunny. In fifth, racing in sixth around the turn, Impressive Bird in the black. In behind him, 2 back to El Tiburon. Unhurried early on. In comes Sir Chi-Town. And Mucho Lito off that first quarter, 28-3. From the outside, here comes Best Boy Hanover. Best Boy Hanover on the attack. Double Time J holds the inside. Sulin Dan is right there in third. 3 back to Subtraction, racing in fourth on the outside. Moving up, Impressive Bird, Lil's Bunny saves ground in the black. Following up cover, a gap of 3 to El Tiburon. The half-mile to go, El Tiburon about 8 off the top. Mucho Lito and Sir Chi-Town, 57-3. 3/8 to go. Best Boy Hanover leads the way on the outside. Subtraction. Now on the attack. Double Time J right there in third. On the outside, Impressive Bird. Sulin Dan looks to shake loose. In the black is on the move. They're in the stretch. Approaching 3/4. Best Boy Hanover leads the way. Subtraction now pulls up even. 3/4, 127-2. Best Boy Hanover digs down. Finn urging him on the outside of Subtraction and Miller now. Subtraction takes the lead. Best Boy Hanover's had it on the outside. Here comes Double Time J. Looking for room is Sulindan in deep stretch at Subtraction. Subtraction holding on. Close for a second between Double Time J and Sulindan. 155-3.